Welcome back to Sports Page. It's time now for our Central Side segment. I'm Dr. Joe Moore, and it's my privilege to get to work with all these young people every day. Today, Marquis and I are joined by Tremayne Fisher. We're going to talk some UCM track and field, volleyball, and basketball. So let's get started. This weekend is the MIAA track and field tournament down at Pittsburgh State University. Heaven Warner is coming off of being named MIAA Athlete of the Week. That's the third time this season, 10th time in her career. Kenesha Rayner, second time this season he's been named the MIAA Athlete of the Week, and I believe the sixth time in his career. How big is that for the team to see two of their big throwers get Conference Athlete of the Week and to perform so well coming into the conference tournament?
Well, it's good to have Tremayne here today, especially Campus Chatter. Shout out to them. But I think it's very good for those accomplishments right now, especially for it's conference week. So them coming off a big week in those accomplishments, having something to motivate them coming off of a great week going into conference is always well. Track and field at UCM, their field events have always been strong. So that's something they don't have to worry about. Heaven's going to perform great at the championships. So would Kenesha. They're like top 3 in the nation in all their throws. I would say that I think the Jennies will look stronger this year a little bit. You know, they did lose Eric Kinsey, but I think they'll have another great conference run. For the guys, it's going to be a dogfight for them against Lincoln and Pitt State, but you know, they got the heart and they got the determination to get out there and do what's best for the team and hopefully get another conference championship.
Yeah, very humble of you because they also have Marquis Jones running sprints for them. So
hey,
good luck to you down there.
Last year, man.
Tremayne, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, Marquis knows the inside best more than anybody. Obviously, he's on the team. He's a sprinter. I think starting with the men's, obviously, it'll be a dogfight, as he mentioned. But I think it'll be interesting to see how they go out and compete. Leaders are you and Marquis Jones, also Kenesha. Looking at the pole vault and Cole Phillips, he's a leader, All-American. So I think they'll lean on that, the heavy competitors, and see how they can do. Looking at the Jennies, obviously Heaven Warner. You look at Brittany Kallenberger in their pole vault. Kaylee Funk running the 800-meter run. So they got some leaders as well. Hopefully they can capture their second straight indoor championship. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Jennies put together a great run last year and won the national championship. Mules and Pittsburgh State were neck and neck last year right until the last race.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready to go.
Mules had a chance at it and had a runner get injured at the end. Pittsburgh State was able to pull it out, but good luck to you guys down there this weekend. Mules basketball. We're used to a tradition of greatness. This year, been a down year for the Mules. You're not going to win 20 every year. But we know that Coach Carl Scan's done a great job with the team, took them to a regional again last year. What do they need to do next season to get back up to that upper level of the MIAA and press for conference championships and for the national play?
Well, the key was I think this year was a young team. They got a couple transfers. Demaye Cunningham was a graduating senior. He was the leading scorer this season, leading assists and everything. And then they had a couple key losses. We saw the veteran and Kyle Wolf go down. And after he went down, they had an 0-6. Lost 6 straight, and that's where they kind of in that situation they are down. This past Wednesday, they went into Lindenwood and won a key game, and they basically clinched themselves into the tournament. So
big win. If
they win or not, they're still going to be in. They have the tiebreaker against Northeastern State. So they're in the tournament. That's all that matters. Once you get in the dance, anything can happen. I think the Mules, as long as they still can play with the competitive that they have all season, they still have a chance. So we'll see what happens.
Me and Tremayne called a couple games this year, and I somewhat agree with him on that. Yeah, they did win against Lindenwood, but they won the same fashion like every other game. They won by 1 point, and I think they have to focus on actually finishing a game. We know they can get a lead. They have to finish the game, get the ball inside because we know they like to take those outside shots. Demaye Cunningham likes driving towards the basket, and we know he can do all that. It's those stellar plays, but I honestly think next year will be a rebuilding year. But I also think that since all the veterans are coming back next year, it will be a great year. But I say they need to look for a point guard. They really didn't have it this year. Demaye Cunningham, he's a great player, but they need somebody to run that floor, get some assists out there, to lead the charge out there. Kyle Wolf went down, and then you really didn't have nobody out there leading the way for them. You know, he looked towards Demaye Cunningham, and they just couldn't finish the games. So I think the Mules can make a strong run in the tournament, but for going on the offseason, I'd say they really look for another big man, possibly a point guard.
10 games this year. 10 times the Mules held an opponent under 65 points. That's some stellar defense. If they've got the scoring, we may be looking at a totally different season. So defense is there, a lot of close games, a lot of young guys, some injuries.
It's the first time we've lost 6 straight since 01-02. So it's been a down year for us, but we won a game. We got in the tournament. That's the key right there. But Let's see what they can do in the MIAA tournament.
I mean, I still think the future is bright for the Mills, too.
Yeah.
A freshman, Jacob Lawrence, had a huge season. I think he could be maybe the next Dylan Deck.
Yep.
Like, he was a key piece to that national championship team. He was huge. He's a big body, can shoot, he can stretch the floor. We've seen him hit a couple threes in the last home game. And he definitely can stretch the floor.
And I can say that they might need to go find a 3 position because I feel like they kind of lacked in that position also this year. Somebody that can shoot that outside shot but also drive towards the basket and actually get those inside points. That's what I think.
And here we go. We're getting ready for the MIAA basketball tournament. March Madness is gearing up. Baseball and softball are playing. And we're going to talk a little bit of fall sports. Our fall sports teams are getting ready for their spring seasons. You guys know that in college athletics, it's not a one-season type of thing. It's all year round. Volleyball, coming off a second-place finish in the conference, losing 5 seniors, but they have another tradition of excellence. So what do you expect from the Jennies as they get into their spring season, get ready for next fall? What's Jennies volleyball going to have to do to maintain their excellence when we get back to the fall?
Well, being an athlete here as well, you know, we do share the multi with a lot of sports, and we see them work in the offseason. And, you know, they didn't really capture the regular season title, but they did capture the tournament title. But then they did lose key players, especially in Carly Soika, Annie Riley, and then they lost 3 other seniors after that. But most people don't know that they actually lost 3 other people as well this offseason. Haley Thompson's gone. Maddie Palmer, she's gone as well. Haley Thompson's a big key for them. She came off a knee surgery, so she wasn't having a good year, and though she's done now, she decided not to come back for another season. So they have an 8-team roster right now. So this is basically a rebuilding year for the Jennies volleyball team. So it's just like Mules basketball, it's just about rebuilding the team again. Like Jennies, they rebuild, they come back stronger every year, but next year might be a different story. But I still think they can come back and be another conference champion.
Yeah, my years here, the Jennies volleyball team has definitely been dominant the entire time. These 4 years, they won conference titles, won in the tournament, as you mentioned, and now they're pretty much kind of hit like a halt to where everybody's graduating at the same time. And then key pieces like Haley Thompson, as you mentioned, just decided to retire because of injuries or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out and do next season. We'll see what happens.
We need to take a quick break. These guys have had a great discussion on UCM athletics. When we come back, we're going to talk a little pro sports. So don't go away. You're watching Central Side.
Spending time with my boys is precious. I love being a dad. It's what I cherish above all other things, especially now. I was deployed to Iraq and served there for just over 12 months. I am certainly proud, but more grateful for that opportunity. When I was in Iraq, I was amazed that I could access PBS online. The coverage that the NewsHour provided gave an accurate portrayal of the events as I understood them unfolding. I thought it was an outstanding resource. It was a great way for me to stay connected to my country, but also where it really mattered, which was home. Having that tangible connection was really meaningful for me. PBS is something that I trust. And what they reflect to me is what's best about my country.
Welcome back to Central Side. I'm your host, Joe Moore, right here with Marquis Jones and Tremayne Fisher. We're going to switch gears from UCM athletics. We're going to talk a little pro sports now. Going on to the NBA, you guys know I am not an NBA fan. I know you guys are, but even I am impressed. Golden State, 52-5, first team to 50 wins this year. On pace for 96 for the season. That's pretty impressive. Good chance of beating the Bulls' record of 72-10. How realistic is that?
Okay, I'll go first. And I mean, 96, I was 4 years old, so I really didn't get a chance to actually see that run by the Bulls. But I mean,
it was impressive. I liked the NBA.
You were alive at the time. But 52-5 right now, that's very impressive. I mean, they got the Thunder coming up this weekend. I'm hearing things about the Thunder getting Joe Johnson because of what happened with him and the Brooklyn Nets. Honestly, do I believe that the Warriors can possibly tie or beat the Bulls record? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. I say they lose by 1 point. I mean, not one loss. I say they'll get it by just one loss.
And you don't think they can get 72?
No. I don't think so.
All right.
I'm with Marquis on this one. I do not think either they will get. I think they shouldn't be going to tie. I think their overall season would be kind of a fail if they get that close and not pass it. So I think they should be going for 73. It should be 73-9 is what they're shooting
And
for.
I honestly think that their heads are too high with this record. They need to focus more on the championship. They're focusing on the record. I mean, like, you can get all these wins, but then when it comes down to it, it's about the playoffs and getting that championship. And you got the team. Don't worry about the wins and losses. Just they make the play. Already made the playoffs.
I just feel like every team that they face obviously is going to get their best game. We saw this past that's their 5th loss was against Damian Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers. He came out and completely went off. And I think that was him playing with the chip on his shoulder, not making an all-star game, and playing against the best player in the NBA right now in Steph Curry. We saw Steph Curry pass the record last night of the most threes made in a game. Excuse me, not the most threes made in a game. The most three-pointers made in consecutive games. 127 games straight, he's made at least one three-pointer. That's ridiculous.
And you also got to look at this.
He's playing very good.
You got to look at this. You cannot deny the Spurs. They have the same team for, 10, 12 years now? They beat Cleveland, Miami, when LeBron was at all these places, and they know to play basketball. Everybody shut them down out every year.
That's how he somehow worked LeBron into the conversation.
I was going to do it too.
I mean, you have to look at Spurs. I mean, they're the team to beat still. I don't care what Golden State record is. The Spurs are the team to beat. They have the most chemistry. Tim Duncan still
You saying Golden State, you think they'll win it? I'm still rocking with Cleveland. LeBron still's a great player. I think them picking up Channing Frye was a key piece.
And they
needed somebody else to stretch the floor. They're also saying Joe Johnson can go to Cleveland. So it's just something to wait and see what happens where he lands. But I think he's a key piece. He's a veteran. He can step in, make open shots. He'll be a key piece wherever team he goes to. So.
2 words for you guys. Magic Johnson. That's all I'm going to say.
I definitely agree. One of the greats for sure.
We're going to go back to college now a little bit, talk some March Madness. Who are your 4 number 1 seeds?
I'll start it off. This past week, Villanova lost. They were the number 1. They lost on the road to Xavier. And I actually caught that the other day on Campus Chatter. They had to go in Xavier. They beat Xavier at home by 31 earlier in the season. And Xavier's no slouch. They're ranked 5th. It was 1-5. They end up going in, winning that game. So Villanova fell, and then so where Virginia fell as well to Miami. So I think right now the number 1 overall seed will have to be KU, as much as I hate it. Number 2, I'm an OU fan. I would pick them as the number 2 seed. And then looking at it's a key matchup this upcoming weekend. It'll be North Carolina at Virginia, and North Carolina is in the 6th slot right now. So I think Virginia will win that game at home. So I think Virginia is a 3 seed, and then Xavier will stay in as the number 4 seed. I don't think they'll drop that far, but I think they're a good team. We'll see what happens. I mean, like you said, it's March Madness. Anybody can beat anybody. But home court advantage is a key.
I know you're.
Just give me 4 schools. Give me 4 schools.
I know he's an Oklahoma fan. He's down my team. I'm a Tar Heels fan. So I think Villanova will stay in the top 4. This is probably the hardest year, honestly. I think a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament will get beat by a 16 seed, actually, for some reason. But I think Villanova will stay at the top 4. It's KU. It's kind of stretching a little bit, but I kind of agree with him on that. I think they'll be number 1, but I would not be surprised if Xavier gets bumped up to number 1. They're 25-3, and they're the only team. They're the best team right now in the top 10 with the best overall record. I would say Villanova, KU, Xavier, and North Carolina as the top 4 seeds.
Oh my! And you leave my team out?
I'm leaving them out.
There's no
And
way.
I'm leaving them out.
They've been saying all season the Big 12 goes through Lawrence. I thought Oklahoma
They say
was
that
there.
every year the Big 12 goes through Lawrence.
And Oklahoma was supposed to win it. They lost 2 to KU, and that's why we're
I don't
sitting
even think
outside
KU's
looking
going to
in.
win the Big 12 tournament, but I'm going to take them as a number 1 seed in the tournament.
The Big 12 tournament is not. I think if KU win 1 game in the Big 12 tournament, they'll still become a number 1 seed regardless.
Yeah.
As long as you're not first round out.
I would agree with that. If you win the Big 12, you're going to be the 1
It's the
seed.
best tournament in basketball. The league in basketball.
Okay, before you start pulling hair, we're going to switch gears again, go to the NFL now, get a little action there. RG3, not going to be back with the Redskins. Johnny Manziel, not going to be back with the Cleveland Browns. Colin Kaepernick, I was reading today, looking to possibly get cut from the 49ers so they can't trade him. Where do you think these 3 end up next year?
RG3, I heard things about the Rams. The Rams cut a lot of people. They cut James Laurinaitis, Jared Cook, which I'm still surprised about that. Chris Long, I'm like, those are your veterans. Jared Cook is a great tight end. I don't know why they did that. I think that was a terrible decision.
Quarterback play.
But Nick Foles, honestly, they said he wasn't probably not going to start next season. They were talking about Peyton Manning. So I can probably see Robert Griffin III at the Rams. I can see that. Johnny Manziel, I can say this. I don't think he's going to be back in the NFL this year because of the domestic violence that's going on with him. So too much going on with that. Maybe a year or 2 down the road. Colin Kaepernick, I never thought he was a good fit for the 49ers. I never seen him as an elite quarterback, honestly. I kind of think he'll fit in with the Chip Kelly offense, honestly, though. But, I mean, he doesn't want to be at the Niners right now, so I don't know where I could see Colin Kaepernick. Maybe Denver, they need a quarterback. Maybe Chicago. I don't know.
I mean, I think to start with Colin Kaepernick, I think he can go somewhere like the Texans possibly. Like, obviously, he hasn't been really anything since he came in after Alex Smith got hurt and kind of made that run. Lost in the Super Bowl to the Ravens, no big deal. But, I mean, I think his game's kind of it's keyed. Everybody's keyed in on it. He's not a great passer, never had been at all. No. He's known for his athleticism and running the ball and things like that. And I think that's the huge difference. His game just hasn't really translated and hadn't grown at all his career. So he's probably possibly done, honestly.
And with Chip Kelly, I mean, Chip Kelly likes to run that fast-paced run offense. I think he'll fit in great, but I mean, I don't think 49ers will be that good next year.
I think RG3 and Colin Kaepernick are much smaller versions of Cam Newton. Not very accurate passers, can run very well, but because Cam Newton is so big, he can take the beating and they can't. So I don't know where they end up, but I guarantee you they end up as backups. Johnny Manziel needs to end up in rehab of some sort. He needs help. And I don't say that flippantly. The young man needs help before he comes into the NFL. He needs to get his life straightened out. Chase Daniels from the Chiefs next year is going to get a chance somewhere to be a starting quarterback. I hate to see him leave Kansas City.
I saw such a side earlier this week.
I know. I got to get a little more in here.
I was a huge fan of Chase Daniels at Mizzou. He did everything he could in his whole career. He was with the Saints and then now with the Chiefs. He's been a backup the entire time.
He's gotten a chance to learn behind two great quarterbacks.
I honestly think he is better than Alex Smith. I've told people I know that's Chiefs fans all the time.
Now he's talking
He's
crazy.
A better passer, honestly.
He's better than these three.
And
these three we're talking about right now who have all had a chance to be starters.
RG3 is the best quarterback of those
Chase Daniels to the Ravens, man.
Yeah, RG3 is the best of those three. Chase Daniels is better. He's more consistent.
You got to be proven. You got to be proven, though. So
all that matters is this: the Rams will win the Super Bowl next year.
Oh my gosh!
Let's go.
We're going to end it on that note before it gets too crazy in here. Thanks for tuning in to Central Side. We'll see you next week.
Oh my.
I choose red to blaze my own trail.
I choose red to be with students and faculty who make me feel at home.
I wanted a university with a big picture perspective. That's why I chose red.
Why do you choose red?
Choose red.
Choose red. Choose the University of Central Missouri. Choose red. Can I do that? Is that allowed?